Discomfort really can bring out your truest self. Oh, hi huckleberries! Oh my gosh! Oh, I have missed you guys so much. I have not made a video in technically over a month. I missed all of it. I'm so happy to be back and to come back talking about a topic that I am so passionate about. This video has been something I've wanted to make for years. Should I really claim that I'm out of my quarter life crisis? I don't really know. But I will say, having experienced at least 5 years of a quarter life crisis between the ages of like 20 to 25, and all of the confusion and anxiety that can come with a quarter life crisis, it really kind of has dissipated in the last couple of years. That does not mean that I have it all figured out, because I don't. But instead of asking myself questions like, who am I? And Holly, why are you such a hot mess? Instead, nowadays I ask myself questions like, what are you gonna do about it? I think that's the biggest indication of being out of that quarter life crisis, is that a lot of the confusion and the fear is gone. And I want to start talking about it because I feel like the queen of quarter life crises. Figure it out, girl. I would like this to be more of like a series on this channel. I want to continue talking about this. That way it can be a little bit more of a conversation. You guys can share your advice, talk about your own experiences, things you're going through, and we can just like be there for each other, because I'm here for you guys, you know? Tip number 1 is to pop your bubble, get out of your comfort zone. Some people in this world are content, never leaving their hometown, going to Cancun every year, maybe even dating and eventually marrying the person they've been with since high school. And let me be clear, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But you are watching this video, so I assume that you're craving something more, and that is okay as well. But if you continue to make the same types of friends, do the same activities, watch the same TV shows, you will continue to be the same person that you are. Add in as many different types of influences into your life as possible. You're gonna find inspiration. You're gonna figure out what you like and what you don't like. Even revisiting things. I have this little rule with myself that I try foods that I hate about once a year. Eventually, I loved tomatoes. Now I can't get enough of tomatoes, but I used to hate them. Wasabi, I hate wasabi, and I try it about once a year just to make sure I haven't changed my mind, but wasabi is disgusting. And also, getting back on to the point, meet as many different types of people as you can. For me, that was going on my road trip and conversing with strangers, whether it was at a bar or on a hike. But no matter what kind of conversation I had or what kind of interaction I had, whether it was like super casual and chill, very deep and personal, I always walked away from every interaction more curious about something or some place, or just more connected to that person or just humanity as a whole. And I know living out of a car for 6 months and traveling and talking to strangers, that's not for everyone. So start off with like a Facebook group, getting to talk to people and connect with people from all over the world. I mean, the internet's a magical, wonderful, frightening place. So utilize those tools and just start small. It doesn't have to be huge. It could literally be watching a different TV show or listening to a new podcast or getting an audiobook, but they will influence you and teach you more about yourself as you learn more about the world and about what's out there and the other ideas out there. You need to incorporate change. So start small, start cheap, eventually consider making like a financial investment. I wanted to learn about fitness, so I hired a personal trainer. That's an extreme example because it's very expensive to do that. I had to make smaller purchases and try other things and do things for free before I was ready for that big step. I don't know, get your toes in the water and put yourself out there and see what happens, what comes from it. Tip number 2 is to troubleshoot. And this step takes a lot of self-reflection. The first is to identify your problems and then identify potential solutions and to try them out. I like to list them in order of least extreme solution to most extreme solution. Let me give you a few examples. You drink too much. What's the problem with the drinking? For me, I was wasting all my money. That was a huge problem when I started to work in the restaurant industry. I was swept up in the culture of the restaurant industry. I was wasting so much money. So what are you gonna do about it? Budget. I've got a budgeting video coming up really soon. Stay tuned for that. Hit that subscribe button. Budgeting out a certain amount of money per week to buy drinks, saying you're only gonna drink on the weekends and not drink on the weekdays. Those are really simple solutions. If the problems are more than that, it's messing up your work life or your relationships, or you black out on a regular basis, you know, then we're gonna get into more extreme solutions like going to AA or getting therapy, figuring out why you're drinking. Not every problem has to be an extreme problem. You can fix a lot of things in your life by just kind of working your way down that list. Troubleshooting. Never done it, but if I could go back in time, I would tell myself, Holly, you should probably troubleshoot your life. Hindsight. If only we could have instant hindsight. That is an oxymoron. Tip number 3 is find your role models and a mentor. In the age of social media and online influencers, it's really easy to just look up to someone on YouTube or on Instagram. The point I want to make in this is to try and find someone that you can actually interact with directly, someone that you know, someone that you can actually see them living out their lives or have a conversation with. Why does I don't want this to fall. I want elephant in the party. He's invited. He's gonna stay. On my road trip, I went and I stayed with my aunt and uncle, and getting to know them, there was just so much about both of them as individuals, in their careers, in their personal lives, in their marriage, that I really look up to and I really admire. So having that was a huge aha moment for me, realizing, oh my goodness, I've gone this whole time not really having a role model, like someone who had already gone through it all. And I just never had that. And once I realized that it had been missing, I found the value in it. Don't just rely on social media. I pride myself on keeping this channel very authentic, but it is still a YouTube channel, and I'm only showing you guys, like, I made my bed for you. And if you really don't have any role models in person, finding them online is great. I mean, have someone, but let me give an example of like a healthy versus like an unhealthy way to admire social media people. Julian Solomita. Okay, and like Jenna Marbles, you know them, right? He's like so technically challenged, technically talented, and I admire his craft so much. However, if I idealize Jenna and Julian's relationship, I would consider that to be a very unhealthy admiration, because we don't know what they're like off camera, and it's weird and unhealthy, and it's not gonna lead to me finding a healthy relationship. Another example would be Mr. Kate. Mr. Kate is tiny. She's short and has like a pretty similar body to mine, and she's actually the first person I've found who I can kind of like look up to, like for fashion and body image. I've been looking at models my whole life, so it kind of just like makes me feel fat all the time, and I know I have some body image issues and I'm working on that, but once I discovered her channel, it makes me feel beautiful too. A little pack of dynamite. My camera died. It was my camera telling me to stop rambling. Moving on. Tip number 4. Do something that scares you. And this felt so cliche and I didn't want to use it, but then I just kept thinking about how true it is and how important this is and what incorporating fear and confronting fear has done for me. I just like have to talk about it. And if you aren't feeling confident and powerful and strong, how are you gonna navigate these problems that you're having and feel confident in your decision making and making decisions that are going to be inherently scary for you? Hiking has been a huge part of me finding myself, and when I am hiking, I get inspired, I get clear on my vision, see parts of myself that I love and I want to enhance. In Florida, I went on a hike. It wasn't a hike, it was literally a walk, but I was terrified. Terrified almost to the point of tears. If I had not done that little walk in Florida, I would not have been able to go on the Beehive Trail in Acadia National Park in Maine. That was a huge accomplishment for me. Again, it was a short hike, but it was terrifying. Where you're climbing a cliff face, and I did it alone. Maybe not the most responsible thing, but so much pride comes from doing something like that. You know, maybe you're not outdoorsy. Maybe it means going on a blind date. That might be a bad example. I don't usually feel that good after dates. I'm always like, well, that was okay. That was okay. Go sing karaoke. Yeah, just do something that gets you out of your comfort zone. I overcame my arachnophobia. I made a video about it. Nobody watched. I am curious, what are you guys afraid of that you're gonna do? Please comment them down below, because it gets me jazzed and excited to hear. Going skydiving or swimming with sharks. You know, these are both things that I hope to do in Hawaii. Those are a few examples that I'm looking forward to, because it is humbling to be afraid. It is humbling and empowering all at the same time. Is that a thing? I think it is. And my last tip for this video is going to be taking control of your narrative. What are you saying about yourself to yourself? Our own personal narrative is the foundation to how we come off to others and how we might present ourselves. Not talking down to yourself and not telling yourself your life story in a negative way. I could look back on my childhood and I could tell you two completely different versions. I could make my childhood sound very nice. I could also tell you a completely different version that kind of sucked. And that's not to say that one version is wrong or right, but we do have a lot of control over our narrative, and what we tell ourselves will affect our future and will affect how we make decisions. And if we're making decisions based off of fear or insecurity versus making decisions based off of aspirations and the best version of ourselves, and following that through your day-to-day life. So that could mean putting a positive affirmation on your mirror, something that you can read every day that uplifts you. A huge one is writing down what you're thankful for every night or every morning, just depending on your schedule, what works for you. But I love to write down what I'm grateful for, because the list is long, and not being a victim. Woe is me because I have this obstacle and this obstacle and this obstacle. That doesn't mean that those obstacles don't exist, but your attitude towards those obstacles will affect the ease or the difficulty in overcoming them. I'll give one more example. I think this video is getting a little long, but one more example. Going through my career change, doing all of these like random things and changing my look, there was a point in my life where I looked at myself and I thought, wow, I really must not know who I am. I'm a mess. Why can't I just be normal and like be content? And like that's a very like damaging way to look at yourself and to talk about yourself, versus having fun with clothes and fashion and makeup, trying new things and having many skills. That's my identity. That's who I am. It's not my lack of identity. It's the fact that I'm adventurous and I'm curious and I love learning and I love to explore, and it's not a problem and there's not something wrong with me. All you have to do is figure out like what you're saying about yourself and really like think about it and reflect, and how you present yourself in conversations with others, and deciding to say it differently. It's you seeing yourself in your best light. And life ain't easy. Figuring it out is hard, and like I said, I'm still figuring it out, but I've come so far and I'm really proud of the progress that I've made, and I feel really awesome about it. So I don't know, I can't wait to read your guys' comments and just hear what you guys think of this video, and if you guys want more and maybe talking about your quarter life crisis, tell me what situation you're in, any questions you guys have, and that might inspire some future videos, hopefully. as well. So these were just 5 tips, 5 things that kind of just felt right for me to share today, but I hope to share more. I hope to just learn and grow and get better as I get older and get farther away from my quarter life, where people are like, Holly, you're too old for a quarter life crisis. What are you talking about? We're gonna have to figure that one out later. Okay. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you are new here, please subscribe and just like join the Huckleberry family. I love you guys so much. I'm just so happy to be back, finally. I hope you're all doing very well. I'm sending you all positive vibes. And if you're in a quarter life crisis right now, I got you. I'm here for you. Okay, bye. Love you guys.